Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew, and here we are back again in Overwatch, and today I want to talk about Tracer, sort of the Overwatch mascot. She is known for many reasons, including her ass and sort of the controversy surrounding her buttocks region. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. I saw it trending on Facebook. It's kind of getting a little ridiculous at this point. But anyways, today we're not going to be talking about Tracers, but today we're going to be talking about how to play Tracer, sort of going into detail about Tracer's stats, her abilities, what role she plays into the team overall, and what heroes also counter her on the other team, when to pick Tracer, when not to pick Tracer. And guys, also please take note that this video, I'm making it during the closed beta, but I do not think Tracer's playstyle is going to change, and if any of her damage stats or anything like that changes, I'll go ahead and update it down in the description below, so be sure to check the description for any sort of updated numbers if any patches came out since the making of this video. Anyways, first and foremost, her real name is not Tracer. Her real name is, of course, Lena Oxton. She is on the offensive role as far as her class type goes. And yeah, she is essentially a flanker, speedy, offensive type hero. Now, her base hit points makes her really squishy, coming in at 150 HP, and that's like paper mache level. That's like Zenyatta level. But luckily for her, she can run around really quickly with her insane mobility. But let's talk about what she's got under the hood, right? What does she have for weapons? Well, her pulse pistols, basically she dual wields these, and that's not really important because in the end, the total ammo count is 40 rounds. They act as kind of one weapon here. They do 6 damage at maximum and 1.5 damage at minimum. Some of you guys may be looking at me confused, but essentially what that means is the closer you are, the more damage you'll do. The farther out the target is, the less damage you'll do. And so at 1.5 damage, that's like nothing. That's like no damage. Not to mention, these pistols spread like crazy. The accuracy bloom goes off the charts. Even if you're just firing it for a little bit, the crosshairs expand pretty quickly. So what does that tell you guys? What does that tell you? That tells you that you should use these pistols in CQC. Now, doing the math here, 40 rounds of ammo, 6 damage, that's 240 potential damage in each magazine. Of course, that is just counting body shots. Just go ahead and double that number for headshots. Now, it's kind of weird because the time it takes for her to run out of ammo in one magazine is going to be 1 whole second. Now, the reload speed is also 1 second, so you'll be spending the exact same amount of time shooting as you would reloading, so I would highly recommend getting your accuracy up to par. I mean, with Tracer, you really have to be in people's faces and really go for the head. So like I said, the pistols bloom like crazy, so I would not recommend using these in any sort of long-range combat. Medium range may be okay, but you'll find yourself reloading a lot just because you'll both miss your shots and your shots will do less damage. But medium range and close quarters, that's really where you want to stay at. Long range is definitely a no-no. Next up, we have Tracer's sort of signature ability, and that is, of course, Blink. And it's a pretty simple concept. Blink essentially lets you blink forward, side to side, or backwards a short distance. It's sort of like a miniature teleport, a very quick teleport. Tracer has 3 charges of the blink in total, and the cooldown for each blink is currently 3 seconds. The hotkey, for me currently by default, is just shift, but I believe you can also right click to blink, and at the end of the day, it's really up to you guys on what you want to use. I mean, right click or shift button. Now, the blink is super useful for initiation, for flanking, for escaping. I mean, you really name it. Blink is really what makes her an awesome flanker, that sort of survivability in the form of evasion. With Blink, you can also get into these weird places on maps that not a lot of other heroes can. But the tricky thing with Blink, though, is that it doesn't move you up vertically. It only takes you in the horizontal plane that you started from. So it's not like Genji's swipe that sort of can propel you through the air. If you try to do the same thing with Tracer, you're going to be sticking to the ground. It's not like Blink gives you wings. Isn't that a commercial or something? No, that's Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull gives you wings. There you go. Next up, we have her third ability, and that is, of course, Recall. And Recall is a sort of like a rewind button. It'll take her back to 3 seconds to where she was, restoring her health, position, ammo. It's a great way to escape. The cooldown on the ability is 12 seconds, and the actual animation of the ability is 1.5 seconds. This actual duration is is actually quite helpful because it will let you dodge a lot of things, whether that be your own pulse bomb or even some AoE ability that's striking down an entire area that you can't really escape. You can kind of shield yourself with the recall ability, make yourself invulnerable, and come out of it alive. Recall's great, man. It's a fantastic ability, but it really depends on how skilled the player is. Obviously, you don't want to recall too late, because at that point, it will be kind of pointless, because it only goes back by 3 seconds. So you guys gotta really kind of get into the rhythm of Tracer, sort of all about the timing and all that good stuff. Next up, we have Tracer's ultimate ability, and that is the Pulse Bomb, which, you know, when I first played this game, I thought, oh my god, the Pulse Bomb must kill everyone. But surprisingly, the Pulse Bomb only does 400 damage on contact, and it's got like a small splash damage radius. It's not that big. The radius itself is about 3 feet, and that is... I know you guys don't really have a reference for that, but I can show you guys here what I mean. That's like half the distance you can blink. It's a really, really nice ability. It does quite a bit of damage, but I'll be honest, guys, it's not going to one-hit KO a ROADHOG or any other big tank, right? So you're going to have to be kind of smart with it. I would save it for a clump of squishies or any sort of medic you want to assassinate. Now, the Pulse Bomb will stick to targets, but that also requires some skill. The radius isn't that big, so don't expect to sort of catch a bunch of enemies that are slightly spread out. You're going to have to make sure they're clumped up. The Trace Bomb is sort of like an ultimate assassination skill, right? You can't really rely on it to clear out a big choke point. The enemies are going to have to be pretty clustered up together. But given sort of Tracer's really strong kit overall, the ultimate, you know, I think it fits well into her character. Now, certain characters can survive it because it takes a few seconds for it to actually explode. So when you start dealing with characters like Mei or Reaper or even Lucio, they can all dodge your Pulse Bomb if they are pretty quick with it. Zarya's shield is also another one that will protect her. So I would recommend sort of not using the Pulse Bomb on those types of characters unless you're confident they won't be able to get away. And yeah, sort of general strategies for the Pulse Bomb, if it wasn't obvious enough, you know, you tend to want to blink right in, drop the Pulse Bomb on a cluster of enemies, and then recall out. If you don't have recall, you know, a blink away would get you out of the blast radius, but the safest combo is usually just recalling out anyways. Speaking of combos, by the way, meleeing with Tracer is actually a pretty good practice to do. Unfortunately, melee has been tweaked to do a little bit less damage. That may change in the future, but still being able to kind of do that melee attack right as you run out of ammo in your magazine, I mean, that often may be just enough damage to finish your target off. So when you're playing Tracer, definitely get in the habit of using your melee attack to finish your enemies is definitely worth it. Now let's talk a little bit about team comp. You know, I could go on for hours about when and when not to use the Tracer, but the general rule is Tracer's a flanker, right? She's not a front lines person. She's not any sort of tank. She is a flanker. So I'm not just saying the map, but sort of the game itself. If you see there's a match where they have the choke points on lock and there's really no way you can flank without getting sniped or spotted, you know, that's going to be rough. So you may want to switch out of Tracer. But if you can flank and if all the other roles are covered, yeah, definitely go for Tracer. She's extremely annoying to deal with for the other team, especially if you're able to just sort of zip in and out of combat without dying. Just sort of harassing them in the back lines even is enough to disrupt them in the front lines. So just off the top of my head, her best counters, well, that's going to be people like Mei. Mei is really good against Tracer. Mei can essentially cock block Tracer in every way. I mean, she can dodge the bomb, she can freeze Tracer to hold her still. I mean, Tracer's got tiny HP, so Mei just stomps on Tracer pretty easily. Another hero to watch out for is a good ROADHOG. A ROADHOG that can hook you, because the hook shotgun combo is going to take out Tracer pretty easily, given that Tracer has 150 HP, so yeah. You know, ROADHOG is going to stomp you if the ROADHOG can land the hooks. Another obvious counter that I can think of is Pharah. Obviously, just because Pharah can kind of get that distance advantage, and she's got crazy damage with her rocket launchers. So yeah, I would not tangle with the Pharah if you're Tracer, especially if she starts flying into the sky and starts, you know, shooting down on you. You know, your pistols are not going to be able to compete. Reaper's another deadly one, but that's more of a toss-up. If you get too close to Reaper, he's going to take you out with his shotguns. But if you're able to sort of maneuver around him quickly enough, you know, you may be able to stand a chance. The thing with Reapers, though, is that he can Wraith form away. He has the ultimate. I mean, these are all things that can kind of protect him really well against you, so Reaper would be a more difficult target to take down. Now, as far as heroes that you are good with, I mean, you know, I feel like this is going to sound contradictory, but I feel like Tracer is as good as the player can be, right? So typically, you want to go against Mercy, you want to go up against all the backline people like Widowmaker and Hanzo and Zenyatta and stuff. I mean, those are all the easy targets. But if you're a good Tracer, you can take down, you know, people like Bastion. If you're good flanking, you can take down a good Reinhardt. You could probably even go up against a Genji if you wanted to. And honestly, I mean, even with the counters that I mentioned earlier, you know, it's not like an automatic, oh my god, I'm going to get stomped as Tracer if I play against these guys. It's more of like, these guys are going to be harder to kill. But as long as you're being smart about your blinks and smart about your recalls, I mean, Tracer's a very, very slippery hero. And oh god, that sounds so dirty. But you guys know what I mean. Like, she is really, really tough to take out. And if you're able to get like a Torbjorn or Symmetra to give you extra shields, extra armor, that is going to make Tracer even bulkier, which is fantastic. So really, when you're playing Tracer, if you got those two heroes, or at least one of them on your team, you are pretty set. And that's going to help you flank so much more. And that is her role, to be the flanker, to cause havoc in the enemy lines from behind, take out the supports, be a nuisance to, you know, everyone else, take out some people if they're in clusters. You know, even if you can't get the kill, I mean, obviously it's always best to kill someone, but say if you're, you know, you have shit aim, you can't actually hit the head, that's okay too, because just disrupting the team, making them focus on you, diverting their attention, sometimes that's all it takes for your front lines to bust through the front end. So as Tracer, while killing is preferable, don't be too upset if you can't land killing blows. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my little guide on Tracer. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to check out some of my other videos. Maybe you'll find them helpful or at least entertaining. And yeah, I guess until next time, I'll see you in the next one.